No matter where you've lived before, Bellingham, Washington is the best kept secret in the land. And people that live here are going to be mad that I'm sharing this with you today. If you're thinking about making a move to this part of the great Pacific Northwest, whether it's for a new job, to be closer to family, or to improve your quality of life, you've come to the right place. In this video, I'll give you a deep dive in what life is really like here, where to live, and the price points across the city. From starter homes to high-end luxury, I've got you covered. Today, I'm going to share with you the secrets of the Columbia neighborhood and why it is one of the most sought after and desirable neighborhoods in the city. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a hidden gem about this neighborhood that could make or break your decision to move here. So don't miss it. The earliest houses in the Columbia neighborhood were built in the 1800s, probably late 1800s, around 1880 or so. Most of them were constructed along Eldridge, and then as the neighborhood got built out, houses were built out to the north. Over the next 50, 60, 70 years, between the 1880s and the 1960s, 1970s, the neighborhood pretty much got fully built out. And Bellingham was founded in 1903, and there were some main industries back in those days, like fishing, big fishing port, and a lot of canneries and different things like that. And then there was logging and lumber mills on Bellingham Bay. There was even mining activity. So people were coming to Bellingham. A lot of people were coming to Bellingham to work, to find jobs and a new future for themselves. And so as people came to work here, they would build their houses as close to downtown as possible, as close to Bellingham Bay. Bellingham Bay was the focal point for a lot of the activity that was going on in Bellingham and what was bringing people to this area. So speaking of Eldridge Avenue, Eldridge Avenue is actually a historic district. It's on the list of historic places on the National Register, and there's 165 houses on that National Historic Register. Sounds pretty cool. Very historic place, especially right along Eldridge. Since it took 70 or 80 years to build out the neighborhood, you have a lot of different builders and a lot of different visions for architecture. And so we do have such a variety in the Columbia neighborhood, from Queen Anne, Victorian, to bungalow, to craftsman, to mid-century modern. You even get some 60s and 70s Rambler style houses, and everything in between. So the entire neighborhood has about 4,000 people. There's 1,600 homes here. And as you can see, the place was built for community. It's built over 50 years or so. It took about that long for the whole neighborhood to get built out. But here on this street, as you can see, you've got the front porches, and it's so designed for connection and community, to engage with people as they walk by. It's very comfortable, easy living. It's very quiet here. It feels very safe, very serene. Nice neighborhood. You're gonna love it here. So the way I like to describe this neighborhood, it is literally right out of a Norman Rockwell painting. You've got Victorian homes, Tudor homes, you've got bungalows, all these different architectural types, a lot of front porches, again, the trees, and it is like, it's apple pie, it's baseball, it's lemonade, it's picnics, it is Americana. I mean, this is the place to be. It just feels so comfortable, and it feels so friendly, and it feels so community. What I would say is that if you value community and connection more than you value square footage or new construction, Columbia neighborhood checks a lot of boxes. In this neighborhood, it's very rare to see a garage out on the street. So the way the houses were designed is they would build the house, there's an alley in back, and so if there was a garage, you would typically see a garage off the alley. A lot of the homes don't have garages. It's just the way things were back in those days, because maybe they didn't even have cars. I mean, we're talking 1900s. So it is pretty interesting to see how that's developed over time. And then one of the biggest things that adds charm to the neighborhood, you might not have a garage, but pretty much every house has a front porch. And that speaks to the community nature and the spirit of the neighborhood is neighborhood connection, people living together, tight-knit community. That's what this place is all about. One thing you don't find in Columbia is you don't find a lot of condos, apartments, anything like that. We do have some commercial areas. We have the Fountain District, and then we have a little bit more retail up northwest. But by and large, the entire neighborhood is residential in nature. However, the restaurants, the breweries, grocery shopping, it pretty much all is within walking distance. And then we have some great access to trails. The neighborhood itself doesn't really have a trail system because we're all streets and sidewalks. But on the perimeter of the neighborhood, there are a lot of access points to parks and the trail system that does run through all of Bellingham. So let's just do a little walk and talk here in Columbia. We are right next to Elizabeth Park, and this is a very common street scene that you will see in the Columbia neighborhood. You've got mature landscaping, tree-lined streets, very quiet, houses with front porches. Now, the Columbia neighborhood is located just northwest of downtown. So where you are on the edge of our neighborhood goes right down to Bellingham Bay. So you do have kind of a waterfront bay element, but the majority of it is inland. And as you come from Eldridge Avenue, which is one of our main arterials, and you go north, the houses tend to be newer the farther north in the neighborhood you go. So most of the older homes were built in closer to the city center. The location is probably about 7 or 8 minutes away from Interstate 5. You're probably about 10 to 12 minutes out to Costco and the airport, probably 6-7 minutes to the hospital, and then Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, you're probably 10 to 12 minutes over there. So everything is pretty close here to the Columbia neighborhood. It's not too far to get anywhere, and you can walk so many different places. So with this neighborhood, the topography is flat. There are no hills. And so compared to a neighborhood like South Hill, where the main focus and feature and attraction of that neighborhood is Bellingham Bay. And so all of the focal point of South Hill is looking out towards the water. But here in Columbia, the focal point is the streets. It's where people gather and walk and converse from front porch to front porch. And so this is a very walkable neighborhood. Most of the lots here are about 5,000 square foot, which is basically 50 feet wide at the street and then 100 feet deep. And then typically we go back to an alley in the backyard. So to get around in the Columbia neighborhood, the streets throughout the middle of the neighborhood, a lot of stop signs. There's a lot of kids playing, people walking. That's not the way to get through the neighborhood. We use arterials, and so this is one of the main arterials. This is Eldridge Avenue, and then Eldridge down here at the light turns left and goes Broadway, and then Broadway out to Meridian. Meridian is a straight shot the entire length of the neighborhood all the way north, and then there's really not a arterial right in the neighborhood, but right below it is Walkability Parkway, and then Northwest Avenue runs through the neighborhood as well as West Illinois Street. So this is an example of probably the busiest, the two busiest arterials in Columbia would be Meridian and Eldridge. And as you can see, the little white plastic pylons in the street on both sides, well, those indicate bike lanes. Over the last few years, the city of Bellingham has had a huge commitment to making Bellingham streets more biker-centric and cyclist-centric. We're right on the edge of the Columbia neighborhood right now, and this is the further southeast side of the neighborhood, and over my shoulder is Bellingham Bay. So Eldridge, like I mentioned, is that arterial. A lot of those houses on Eldridge have really great Bellingham Bay views, as you can see. And so the great part is it is so walkable. So right down below us is Zuanage Park. There's Anthony's Homeport Restaurant. There's the Hearthfire Restaurant. There are multiple restaurants and breweries within walking distance. So you can see how close we are to downtown and Bellingham Bay right from the Columbia neighborhood. All right, we are here in the Columbia neighborhood, and we're in a special part of the neighborhood along Eldridge Avenue. And these homes are pretty unique. They were built by the wealthiest people in Bellingham back when Bellingham was founded and developed. These were the people that were the higher paid people in the logging and fishing and shipping industries here in Bellingham. They were able to build these beautiful homes because right here along Eldridge, all these homes that you see, they're facing Bellingham Bay. So they all have this incredible Bellingham Bay views facing south. We're on about an 80-foot high bluff. And these homes are actually on the National Historic Register of historic homes and historic places. So it is a pretty special place. Very rare for one of these homes to come up on the market, but they do. And we have had sales here on the Eldridge Street, Eldridge Avenue. We've had them break $2 million. So first of all, to ever find a house on Eldridge, that's rare. And then to find it for under $1 million, next to impossible. But they do come up, and if you're able to get a house here on Eldridge, you consider yourself fortunate. So yeah, it is a beautiful day to enjoy some great homes here on Eldridge Avenue. So along Eldridge Avenue, all of these historic homes have this incredible view of Bellingham Bay. South facing, so you get the warm sunshine during the day, lots of bright light, incredible views, historic homes, large lots. We're about 80 feet above sea level right here. So this is what I'm talking about that makes this Eldridge Avenue area so special. The views add so much incredible value. Well, you know, classic Bellingham is you get these unique restaurants and bars and breweries, things like that. This is Elizabeth Station. They've got pizza, they've got all kinds of brews and microbrews and different beverages from all over the region. I'm a root beer connoisseur, and I've never tried this before. It's called Rated G root beer. So, you know, let's give it a try. Not bad, different, really different. Cheers. This is the Fountain District here in the Columbia neighborhood, and it is the most concentrated retail commercial area in the entire neighborhood. It's incredibly walkable. It's right on the corner of Broadway and the Meridian. We have restaurants, we have banks, we have furniture stores, we have breweries, we have coffee shops. It's a great place to come and get the things you need and then walk right home. Continue to enjoy my craft root beer. We're still here in the Fountain District, Columbia neighborhood. And one of the things that I love about Bellingham, you'll notice as you go around town, are these murals. So Gretchen Leggett is the muralist who painted the mural behind me. I love her style. She does a great job. You'll see her murals around town. We're here at Elizabeth Park, and Elizabeth Park is named after the wife of Henry Roeder, who's one of the founders of Bellingham. His wife was Elizabeth, and he took this 4.5-acre parcel and dedicated it as a park here in the city of Bellingham. It's 2 full city blocks, and you've got a couple tennis courts / pickleball courts. You've got a fountain, you've got a basketball court, picnic tables, trees, trails. It's so nice to have this right in the middle of the neighborhood. Oh, also there's a playground for kids. They do concerts here in the park in the summertime, and it's a focal point for the neighborhood. The people love to gather here, have a picnic, and it's delightful. Here's another one of the parks in Columbia neighborhood. This is called Carl Loeb Park. It's right on Eldridge. And of course, we have our playground equipment. We've got some park benches. And then over here, a tiny little baseball field. So this property was purchased and dedicated to creating a park to memorialize him. So Carl Loeb Park, great place to walk to and just hang out. Another great reason that Columbia neighborhood is a great secret. So here in Columbia neighborhood, there's one school, it's Columbia Elementary. Beautiful brick building built in 1925. But that's it. There's two middle schools on the outskirts of the neighborhood. There's Shuckson Middle School and then Whatcom Middle School. And then kids from this neighborhood, if they go to high school, they're going to go to Bellingham High School. So I don't know if Whatcom and Shuckson are walkable from Columbia. Might be kind of tough. So they're either going to take a bus or parents will have to give them a ride. But it's close by. It's not bad at all. The Columbia neighborhood has something in common with the South Hill neighborhood, and that is right in the center is an elementary school. Right over my shoulder is Columbia Elementary, and it really is pretty much walkable from anywhere in the neighborhood. So Columbia is so good if you're a family with elementary aged children. It's so easy to walk down these sidewalks and go to school. So walkability is such a high value in Columbia neighborhood. Here's another great example. Okay, and now on the north end of the Columbia neighborhood, this is Northwest Avenue, one of our busier arterials, and then also another commercial area, commercial retail area. Now right behind me is my absolute favorite Thai restaurant in the world. When you come to Bellingham, you've got to go to Anita's on Northwest. Oh my goodness. It is some of the freshest, most flavorful Thai food you'll ever have. Right across the street is a Mexican restaurant. And as you go south on Northwest, there is a local favorite. It's a landmark in Bellingham, Jaeger Sporting Goods. So just kind of a small little retail area here at the north end of Columbia neighborhood. Okay, so pricing in Columbia neighborhood. You can find a fixer for maybe the high 300s or the low 400s, but generally speaking, you're probably looking at around 600,000 for the lowest price move-in ready house, and then prices go up from there. Typically, we see the highest price home selling for about $1.4 million, unless you're over here on Eldridge, Waterview, Bayview. Homes, they'll go over $2 million there on Eldridge. But, they don't sell very many houses a year here in Columbia. About 35 houses a year get sold. But be mindful that only about 35 houses a year come on the market right here in Columbia, which is pretty rare. It's 2% of the neighborhood. Another park in Columbia neighborhood, this is called Lorraine Ellis Park. And it is part of Lorraine Ellis Court. So it's a little court here, these houses built, parked right in the middle. And this right here is another Pacific Northwest trendy fad. It's probably not a fad, it's gonna be here forever, but it's called Frisbee Golf. And you throw your Frisbee, hits the chains and drops in. So that's to drop just like golf. If you're gonna put your golf ball in the hole, you put your Frisbee in the chain net. But great park, not very big, but it's got a really nice playground with new playground equipment. It's quiet, some nice old trees. So again, another reason why Columbia neighborhood is one of Bellingham's best kept secrets. Who is Columbia neighborhood for and who is it not for? If you're someone that loves connecting with your neighbors, if you're someone that loves to walk the neighborhood with your dog, with your kids, if you're someone that likes flat ground, if you're someone that likes mature landscaping and a lot of trees, if you're someone that likes to sit on your porch, talk to people walking by, if you're someone that loves character, like if you've always dreamed of buying that 1899 house and fixing it up and making it cool and loving all of the trim and all the wood floors and all the little nuances that make a 130-year-old house interesting, that's you. If you're someone that's like, hey, I want a 2-car garage, I want a detached shop, I want a big backyard, I want some privacy, I don't really want to know my neighbors too much, Columbia's not for you. That's not the right place. But if you want community and you want connection and you want to be part of the fabric of a neighborhood, then you might want to take a closer look at Columbia. Okay, so that's a wrap on the Columbia neighborhood. I hope you got your questions answered and you have a better idea of what life is really like here. If you're thinking about moving to Bellingham and Columbia is a neighborhood that you are considering, hey, reach out to me. I'd love to answer any questions you might have. You can subscribe to this channel, you can like this video, and you can hit the notifications button, and you'll get notified every time I put out more content like this. I'm Tim Cornwell. If you like what you saw, reach out to me anytime. I'd look forward to helping you find your home in Bellingham and beyond.